Today we're going to talk about when to use italics or when to italicize. And so we need to italicize or underline container words. We use the word container to help us differentiate between the names of works that are large, those would be the container words, and we would italicize them or underline them, and the smaller works that go inside. And we've already talked about we would put those in quotation marks. So sometimes thinking of the larger works as a container helps to remember and differentiate. Now, just very quickly, if you're writing in handwriting on a piece of paper, you need to underline. If you're using a computer, you generally italicize, okay, because you have that capability. So what are the container works? What are the longer works? Books, of course. Periodicals, that means magazines. Newspapers. Epic length poems. So usually you put poems in quotation marks, but there are a couple book length poems like Beowulf, which you will read in British literature, and those would be italicized. Plays, television or radio series, or musical compositions. Again, you would put songs in quotation marks. Think about the name of the CD as your container, or the name of the songbook as your container. Those would be italicized. Songs then inside would be in quotation marks, unless we're talking about a huge musical composition like Handel's Messiah. If you've ever gotten the opportunity to listen to that, you'll understand that completely. It is it's a whole entire program that you can attend, and it's beautiful. All right, so that covers that. Let's move on. Don't worry about this image. We're going to get to it in a second here. Okay, another element that you need to italicize or underline would be the name of a work of art. Also, large vehicles are italicized, like names of ships, trains, names of aircraft or spacecraft, all italicized. Okay? All right, now here is another rule, and this actually has come up in some of your writing, so this one's important. You need to underline or italicize words, letters, or numbers referred to as such, meaning you are referring to that in your text. And so I have examples of that to make sure you understand that. So for example, if we wrote, the letter G can be confusing to kindergarten readers. Okay, now that's where this image comes in, and this is why it can be confusing. Poor kindergartners, here they are trying to learn this letter G that says G, and next thing you know, in their book, their reading books, they come across this image, or this, it's called a grapheme. It's a picture of a sound, G, right? And they're like, what is this? They don't see these as being the same. They learn pretty quickly. So anyway, but notice how we're referring to it right in our text, the letter G. And so when you refer to a letter like that, for whatever reason you would need to, you would italicize it. Here's another. The name Keelan means fair. Okay, so we're referring to this word here, Keelan, my daughter. And so we need to italicize that. So usually what you all are doing, or not all of you, but you know, sometimes in writing, students would refer to a word and they would put it in quotation marks. Well, if you are literally referring to it as such, you're talking about that letter or that number or that name, then you need to italicize it. If you're maybe defining it, then you would put it in quotation marks. So I hope you can see the difference with that. And so one more example, the number 7 occurs many times in scripture. And I chose to underline that one because trying to italicize the number 7, I don't think you would notice the difference necessarily. So I just went ahead and underlined it to show you that. Okay, so that is the end. There's not much in our writing that needs to be italicized, but I need you to know these rules so that you can make application to them in your writing. We'll also do some practice, and so we will move on to apostrophes the next time. Thank you for your kind attention. Goodbye.